Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Alright, welcome back. Today we are hopefully going to finish this journal. I'm hoping. I might be, overly optimistic, but that is the plan. And I have pulled out some stuff to add kind of to speed this process along. Otherwise, we'll be here all week. I did grab some of my recent coffee dyed papers that I use stencils and Distress Oxide inks on, and we're going to need to make some tabs for them. So I've got one in that pocket, this pocket, this pocket, and the back pocket, and I want a tab for this guy. So I've got some tabs from a set digital by Ephemeral Fox, and I'll leave a link down below. And I just want to do a little bit of stamping and inking and embellishing of them. This guy I think I'm going to use on here. So we're going to start by inking the edges on it. I'm just going to grab salvage patina, I think. It's going to go on there, and I'm just trying to decide what else I may want to do to it. These guys, I wonder if I've got a butterfly that I can just add on, just to add a little something extra. And of course, none of these are going to be in the right color. This guy. If I stick them over there, you can see them. Okay, let's do that. And we'll glue this one on. There's that one. Let's pull out all, no, because otherwise I'll end up sticking the tabs in the wrong spots if I pull them all out. Let's do this one. And the tab's gonna go on like so. Let's ink the edges. And I'm just gonna use my dauber that has purple on it. And I'm gonna grab from Tracie, it's by Tracie Fox Creative and Creative Expressions and CEC 1124, no, not that one. It's 1123 Entomology Passport Elements, because I'm going to grab the name of the class for order for butterflies and stamp that in that little spot right there. We'll grab our mouse pad, which will make stamping easier. And let's grab some purple ink. Let's go ahead and use Dusty Concord Archival, because that's what I got handy. There we go. I'm gonna glue that on. And then I think I may want to put a hole in it. An eyelet, a bulb pin, and some fibers. All right, let's grab my crocodile. We're gonna do the smaller hole. Let's do that right there. Oh. Gonna go silver. is not the right setting for that. Oop, that jumped off. Everything fell off there. Okay, got that piece. Where'd the back piece go? It ran away. Try this again. I've noticed lately that my eyelets don't get set all the way, so I'm gonna pull out a hammer, which is actually a craft hammer, and just bang it down so that there's no sharp edges. There we go. Now what we're gonna do is add a silver bulb pin. And that's bulb, B-U-L-B. That can go on like that. And we'll just take a little bit of this. And a little bit of this. Fold it over, tuck it through. Not to get all of the pieces through at one to go. All right. There we go. So we'll have that sticking out of the top. Like so, so you know something's in there. All right. One more thing on this page. Ooh, actually two more things. So I wanted to add a little bit more interest here. So we're gonna glue, this is a 49, let me pull it down so you can probably see it. This is a 49 and Market acetate piece, and we're just gonna glue it down. And I'm using my Barely Arts because it works a little bit better with acetate and vellum pieces and the like. So we're gonna stick that on like so. I just felt it needed something there, and I'm gonna grab a number or words, and we're just gonna put that on there. I am going to ink it because it's too white. I have a scrap piece of paper, and we're gonna go with Salvage Patina. Mostly because I had it out and because it goes color-wise with what we're doing. And I think, let's see. I am going to use Vintage Photo on the edges because I just want to help it stand out a little. Now this is a belly band, so we need something to go behind. And we still have this left. I think height-wise it's all right. Does it fit height-wise? Let's see. It's a little trimmed off height-wise. Width-wise, probably want to cut it. Let's just grab a pencil and mark it there. And I'm never going to find that pencil mark again. Let's pull out our paper trimmer. Trying to decide where's the best to take off a little. Just check the fit. Fits. It's a snug fit. Let's round our corners. Okay, so this is a digital by TaylorMadeJournals, and I think what I may want to do is grab my scallop and cloud punch and scallop the corners. Also going to put some cheesecloth behind her. Just kind of like the contrast of the brightly colored background to the sepia toned image. And what I will often do when adding cheesecloth is, instead of just sticking it behind, I'll trim off bits and kind of piecemeal put it behind, so that I'm not adding a ton of bulk behind the piece or wasting a ton of cheesecloth that you're not going to see. And yep, the dogs are going crazy. I suspect somebody just walked by, or there's a cat out there, or, you know, the wind blew. And I'm using Abroutique because it just works better with like cheesecloth and fabric and stuff like that. You can use art glitter glue or whatever your preferred glue is. It just tends to grab things like cheesecloth a little bit faster than your art glitter glue. Of course, now I've got a dog who wants to go out in the yard, and he can wait a minute while we get this piece finished. I like that. That just adds a little bit more interest to the piece, and we're gonna scooch that over a little bit. And then I'm gonna add a washi sticker butterfly coming off over here. That's why I'm kind of pushing this bit of cheesecloth out of the way, because it'll make it easier to put the washi sticker down. And this washi sticker came from Taperlogy, which unfortunately for right now they have ceased selling to buyers in the United States because of the tariffs. Let me grab my this 2025 is not good crafting industry news wise, because Creative Expressions, the stamp set that I used on the last bit, they've closed this year because the owner wanted to retire. All right, that guy's gonna go in here. Taperlogy's not currently selling to the US because tariffs. Joann's is closing, if you haven't heard the news already. They've gone into bankruptcy, been sold, and they're just liquidating everything they have and shutting their doors. Frantic Stamper, which is an online retailer. Let's flip over to here, and this is by ChezSimone, and I forget the last part of the name of the digital shop. I'll leave a link and all of the information below, and probably put it across the screen right now. And I actually hit this with some beeswax, so when we put it on the page, this is upside down and backwards, you'll be able to see that behind it. And then I'm going to put down a little bit of lace. Let's trim this off. I think I was waiting for the glue to dry at the last video and hadn't gotten around to trimming this off, so let's do that. gonna use my Barely Arts glue for this. I was watching Crafty by Tony was doing her ABC April video, was on earlier today because I film ahead, so this is the weekend. And she had W, so she did waxed paper. And I was like, ooh, I should do that. And pulled it out and did a little bit of wax paper. And let's just do a line of FabiArtStudio down the side here and put the lace on. Yep, sorry for bumping you. Hopefully I didn't just FabiArtStudio my phone. And once it dries, I'll trim off that excess bit of lace up there. Just add a little bit more interest to that page. We need to do a tab for this guy. My desk is a disaster area. Let's do this one. Yes, let's ink the edges. I think I'm gonna grab a pink. I'm gonna grab Kitsch Flamingo and ink the edges, and then I'm gonna go let puppies out. All right, so I've grabbed out, we're gonna add a little flower on here. Then we're gonna stamp something. Let's put the glue down. That. And find something to stamp over here. I'm not even sure what the stamp says. It's by Crafty by Tony. Will it fit in that space? Yes. Should have stamped before I stuck that on, but that's all right. It's not really, we're not really stamping it for like readability. We're just stamping it to add some interest on there. Let's go ahead and use Kitsch Flamingo Archival. This one will hopefully stamp well. I think it's a signature. Yes, it is. And it's so thin, you can't really see it on there. Let's grab something else. I think I saw, let's do a number. There we go. And now let's glue this guy on here like so. I think we need more ink on the bottom edge. All right, and that can go back in the pocket. Leave her sticking out just a little bit so that the tab shows, like so. All right, that's all done. That's all done. Over here, I decided it needed a little bit more decorating, and I'm now missing what I had pulled out. Go on. Oh, here it is. All right, so for this page, I just grabbed, this is not from the Taperlogy, it's just from a random set I think I got off of Amazon. Just using my bone folder to press it down good, and then the areas around it, you know, the white-ish areas tend to disappear better when you burnish it down. Then over here, this is a 49 in Market laser cut element that I'm just going to glue down. And then I've got one of their transparent butterflies, or transparency butterflies, to go on here. So yeah, just wanting to do a little embellishing on some of these pages. I think my one dog wants to come back in. because that's how we roll in this house. We go out for 5 minutes and then we want in. Just stick that down, and I'm gonna go let in a dog. Okay, so of course the dog changed his mind. I want to add something to the top of this, and I think what we're gonna do is put a hole in it and add some fibers. All right, let's use the bigger hole. Just gonna do that. Oh, and now he wants in. Okay, so he's in, and the other one's laying down where I can see him, so we're all good. And I'm gonna do 2 lengths of this stuff because it's so thin, and I just love the eyelash trim. And I will leave a list of the sellers on Etsy I have gotten my trims from before. I don't remember where I got what at this point. So let's do another piece with the purple. And I'll cut that end. And for this one, I'm gonna get my easy beater out because otherwise we'll be here all day trying to get it through. So this is one of those tools, you don't need to have it, but it makes doing something like this so much easier because you can just thread them through like that. Then you put it back through the loop end and pull through. That took a fraction of the time it would have taken if I tried to do it on my own by hand. So we can stick her in, and now she's got something sticking out the top, so you know there's something in this pocket. All right, moving along. I feel like I need to do something over here, but I haven't pulled anything out to go over here, so we're not doing anything there for now. I may decide on something later. So this one, we've got the bits that were cut off from one of the envelopes left over. Oh, I think for this pocket, the rest of that is these 2 pieces. And we're just gonna go ahead and glue them down. And then I've got some stuff to go in them. So that, and then that. And I'm gonna glue this pocket to this pocket. And I've got a scrap piece of coffee dyed paper that hopefully I can fit these 2 pieces onto. And these are digitals by FabiArtStudio. I will leave a link down below, and yes, there's enough room. Yay. My dog wandered off from where he was. Let's go ahead and glue one down. And we're gonna round corners just because it makes it easier to put things in and out of pockets if the corners are rounded. And yes, I have corners flying everywhere on my desk. I will clean that stuff up later. We're gonna stamp that right there. I'm trying to decide what color I want to use. You know what? There's some purples in there. Let's go with the Dusty Concord again. It's all right. Should have gone darker, but too late now. Let's go ahead and just ink with Vintage Photo. And then you would do the same on this one. And I'm inking that with Mermaid Lagoon. There we go. Added a little more interest to our digital. And then these guys can go into their pockets. One is wider than the other because the bottom pocket is actually a little bit wider than the top one. That goes in there. This guy goes in here, and it's a shallow pocket, so it's gonna stick out, but that's okay. It adds some more decoration to that page. I feel it needs a little something down here. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta find something. Found what I was looking for, which is, this is a digital by MyPorchPrints, and I decided what I wanted to do over there. Oh, and I was talking about, you know, how not a great year for crafting industries, and I think I left off with Frantic Stamper is closing. Not entirely sure. I don't think they haven't announced like a closing date yet, whereas by the time this video airs, Only One Life Creations, which is another shop that I shop at frequently because they have really good prices on things, they're closing April 30th of this year. So yeah, lots of closings this year. And I grabbed a piece of green cheesecloth. We're just pulling out all the things that I forget that I have that I should use. All right, we're just gonna glue this onto the page. Kind of just do a blob of Fabri-Tac. Glue our butterfly on, and I'm just going to use the Fabri-Tac because I've got it in my hand, and we're gluing on top of the cheesecloth, so that just makes everything a little easier. And there we go. That's a little bit of embellishment going on over there. Over here I've got, that's a digital by Abroutique. I'm going to be doing a lot of linking for this video. This is a die that I cut out a piece of either coffee or tea dyed paper. Let's ink the edges of this, and let's do Kitsch Flamingo. And let's see where the pink dauber, I think I tossed it back into the drawer. No, I did not. That means my desk ate it, which my desk is eating. Oh, there it is. It's trying to roll away. So we're gonna glue the doily onto there. And I'm like using all the glues. Like this is definitely the I want to get this done, random crafty, grabbing whatever's handy kind of stage of the day. And this is just one of my stamped bits and bobs using one of the Tim Holtz stamp sets. Let's take that off. And that. Oh, and I just inked this with some antique linen. I don't think I mentioned that, to take away some of the white. All right. Let's see if we can get this to actually be straight. I think the problem is I'm not always careful enough to make sure that I'm putting the stamp on the block straight. I'm just using the Kitsch Flamingo around the edges because I want to add a little color to it so it's not so white, and we're just going to glue that down. There we go. That's done. That's done. I may come back and put something on those pages. This is the one I keep saying it needs something stamped across there, and now I need to find something to stamp across there. You know what? Instead of doing that, because I could potentially mess up the stamping, let's grab a number. We're going to use these two. And again, I'm going to attempt to straighten this up. And now, of course, because the dog that was outside started barking, the dog that's inside decides he wants to go out. I am going to grab shaded lilac, because I'm pretty sure that's the color I stamped it in. That there. Wow, that's not straight. All right, this one needs a topper. And I think we're gonna go with this guy. And let's ink with purple. Go with that. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to do anything else to it. And it's getting towards the end of the day and I really want to get this finished, so I'm thinking the answer is going to be no. There we go. So you know there's something in that pocket. I think that's good. This is our journaling spot. Then we've got this page and we need to trim this up. And I want to add lace to this. Just to press it down so I don't get glue all over my fingers. And then I think I want to add this one of these, just as an additional decoration. I feel like it just needed a little something extra on there. Now, this is a belly band. So I've got these two pieces from when we did the mixed media masterboard. And that one goes this way round up. And that needs, all right, corners need to be rounded. And I think this one I'm just gonna ink edges and leave it as is. Try vintage photo, because it's got the detail added to it from the mixed media we added. So this has got the crackle paste, translucent crackle paste through a stencil on it. I think that one's just gonna slide in as is. It's got the little lady sticking their head out. Now this one needs some inking, but this one I feel needs a little bit more done to it. I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. So let's go with this. Let's see if we can find something to go with it. Just having a bit of a think as to what I might want to try and find. Actually, I'm rethinking. Actually, kind of like that. I think that works much better with this. Okay, let's move this out of the way. We are going to ink this with pink to get it a little bit more in line color-wise. Let's go with the Kitsch Flamingo. That, I think, I want to ink in green, add a little contrast. Grab Shabby Shutters. And I'm going to ink the edges in pink to kind of reinforce that like line around the image. And this is a digital by Abroutique that I think they were labels or tags or something, and I fussy cut it out. And this is back when I first started out because it's just printed on plain copy paper, which is not something I would do now. I'm actually gonna grab some Shabby Shutters and ink the edges of this. I'll pull the green into that as well. Yeah, I like that better. As I wasn't particularly loving the Kitsch Flamingo on it, I think I might have gone a little too heavy-handed in changing the color. Probably should have done green instead of the pink, but all right, that one's done, and it can go in up there. So we've got the 2 journaling cards in the belly band. Now we're gonna need to do a tab for this guy. Let's see what I've got left tab-wise over here. Got that one, and that one. Let's go with this guy. I think I'm gonna grab my antique linen and turn that not white. And I think I'm gonna stamp the butterfly class, subclass, species, whatever it is, name again. And I'm gonna use Kitsch Flamingo. And use the Kitsch Flamingo to ink the edges. This on like so, and then we are gonna do another eyelet bulb pin fibers kind of thing. All right, that can go into this pocket. And then we've got our lovely little fiber sticking out. I also need to re-glue the bottom because that's coming open. All right, so this is getting this pocket, and I didn't love the bit of label you could still see, so I actually ended up pulling out some 49 and Market trim bits, and none of them are as long enough to do the whole thing, but I think I can do, yeah, the sides with one and then the bottom use a different color. And I think how I'm gonna do this is we're gonna set this aside for now. I am gonna make sure that's the top, grab my glue, which I stuck over here to get it out of my way. think we'll do this one down the bottom, but I think, let's see. Actually, I think for this one, we'll do it on top so it covers up the rough ends of these guys. Cut along the image a little more for that. There we go. Now we can glue this in. Just gonna do this so that I can press it flat. There we go. Now to go in this pocket, I've got, okay, so I've got another one of the pages or pieces from the digital by ChezSimone something. We'll definitely leave the information down below. And I actually so I printed it out. I used a Copic marker to add a little color to a couple of the butterflies and her wings, and then I added beeswax to it so it's translucent so you can see the numbers through it. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna cut a piece of this to the same size as her and then put both of them on a piece of coffee dye paper to give it more stability. Let's do that real quick. I should have left that edge on. Oh well, it's too late now. Because then there would have been more even blank space on either side. Oh, I need to trim it down a hair more. And you can't really tell that there's a whole bunch of blank space over here. All right, let's use our Barely Art glue to attach her to our antique book page. Let's trim off our excess. Now let's glue it down to our coffee dyed paper. And I'm gonna round corners because it just makes it easier. And I'm just gonna leave it like that because I just think that's so pretty. Stick her in her pocket. And there she is. You can see her in the window. I really like that. All right, we are almost done. Oops. This is another of the Taperlogy washi stickers, and I just wanted to add just a little something up top. So we're gonna add that butterfly there. And then we've got our last pocket tab on it. And I think I'm actually going to go with this one because I think I'm going to do the same thing we did over here with a little bit of stamping and the flower. Because I've got purple flowers. So let's set this one aside for a moment. Ink our edges with shaded lilac. I'm gonna use, first we're gonna use one of the scripty stamps by Crafty People. And you know what? I think I'm gonna use the shaded lilac for that. And I don't mind that it's upside down on the one side. You can't even actually read it, so it doesn't really matter. And then let's grab a number. We're using the Dusty Concord. Ooh. Stamp that there. Fabri-Tac and glue that on. I just realized I should not have put that towards the middle. And that's mostly because if I wanted to put something around this to keep it closed, it would go around the middle. And now we've got the tab in the way. Oh well. Go in like that. All right. I think she's done. Yay. All right, let's do a flip through so you can see everything that was done in this junk mail envelope journal. All right, time for a flip through. So here's our cover. Our first page, we've got the flip up to that page, and it's a belly band behind which we have this journaling card, which we did today. And then we've got the tab we did for the piece of journaling paper that's in this big pocket at the top. Here's our little plastic bag. We've got more journaling paper inside and a tab that we did for that. And added this embellishment to the page. I didn't do anything here or these guys because I think they're good. We added a washi sticker there, an acetate butterfly, and a laser cut element by 49 and Market. We added some fibers to the top of this tag. This pocket's got this tag in it. Probably should be showing you everything that's in the other pockets. And I think I created a playlist for this journal because this is, I think, the third video working on it. So I will leave that link down below. We've got this little page that flips out and it's got this tag in this pocket. And we did a little cluster on here to decorate this page. We added these pockets, which have got little journaling cards inside them. Just added a die cut and some dyed cheesecloth to the front of that. And this one's got this journaling card in the pocket. Yeah, all of these pockets are full. This has got a little journaling card in it. This one's got a journaling card in it that you could see through the window. We added some already stamped bits there. We added a topper, just plain topper, to this tag in that pocket. This is a journaling spot. We added some lace and this digital bit to the belly band on this page, and decorated this journaling card and just kind of rounded the corners and inked the edges on this one because it's fancy enough. And those go in the belly band like so. We've got another piece of journaling paper over here that we added a tab to and some more fibers. We glued on this pocket and created I may need to glue that pocket back up. And we added this journaling card to it, and I think I may need to add a tab to the top of that because it did not want to come out. May need a tab just to help with pulling it out. All right, that's something I will do off camera because I am tired. And then we added the sticker on there. There's a tag we did last time in there, and another tab with journaling paper in that last pocket. And there we are at the end. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting!